So Cheika has named his Wallabies squad for the Northern Tour, probably one of the last squads out, I think. Not too many big changes in this one, but there is one particular name that I guess people will be happy to see. Kind of a blast from the past, but if you haven't seen it, you got Ainsley, Alalatoa, Kepusio, and Tupou are the props. Pretty similar to what we've seen throughout the Rugby Championship. Fainga, Latu, and Paenga Amosa are the three hookers, so still no Damien Fitzpatrick. Paenga Amosa seems to be kind of on the fringes now. He seems to be preferring Fainga and Latu, but I guess we'll see how things go with that. Locks, Arnold, Coleman, Rodda, Simmons. Yeah, we've seen a lot of Coleman and Rodda as the kind of starting pair with Simmons there or thereabouts. Simmons is definitely one of Cheika's favourites, for better or worse. Hannigan, Holloway, Hooper, Pocock, Dempsey, Samu, kind of loose forwards, and I guess you could have Hannigan or Holloway in the locks if you needed, but when he's picked kind of 4 specialist locks, I wouldn't imagine that's what they're there for. Obviously, Hooper and Pocock are probably going to be your starters, plus one other. Whether it's Samu. Does he have the lead running with all the effort they got him over from New Zealand? It'd be nice to see some other guys get a chance as well. I guess with the length of the tour, we should see it mixed up at least a little bit. Backs, Guinea, Phipps, and Gordon. I really hope Gordon gets some game time. He's preferred over Powell as kind of that third choice, number 9. I rate Gordon and I want to see him get a shot, but he seems to be struggling to make an impression on Cheika, but I'm at least glad his name is on the list this time. Foley is probably only out-and-out 10. The question at 10 remains for Aussie Rugby. Quade Cooper's just signed for the Rebels, but he's not been playing any Super Rugby, so he's not really been considered, I would imagine. You got Beal and Tamua who could step up in that situation if needs be, but it's still not ideal from what we've seen with Beal at 10 in the Rugby Championship. He looks better when he's got a bit more space. Karevi, I should say Liliafano probably doesn't make it with Tamua there as well. That was always going to be the case. Karevi's back, which is good news. There's still no Kuridrani. Adam Ashley Cooper, old two dads, is the one that's kind of an interesting pick. He's well into his 30s now. He's 100-plus cap veteran for the Aussies, one of my favourite Wallaby players. If you remember that time he tackled 2 guys at once. He's a really solid, impressive player. Seems like a good team man. He can play a lot of positions. I'm not sure how quick he is at his age, but he's got some smarts about him. He's got a huge fend. Left hand, I think. Can't remember. Definitely one hand's better than the other. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes because he does add something. A few years on the clock, like I say, but I'm excited to see how he goes just for old time's sake, which is never a way you should pick a rugby team. You should never pick a team based on just old big names, but I like Adam Ashley Cooper, so we'll see. Opposite end of the scale, you got Jordan Pataya. He's only 18. He's been playing Super Rugby and a fair bit of NRC, so but I think predominantly he's been playing centre recently, but I guess he's also an option for the outside backs if needed. Israel Folau, speaking of a guy who plays centre, at least in his last game, he can't play on the outside backs. What his position is going to be going forward? Was it fullback, is it right wing, or is it 13? That's a question. Dane Halapeti, probably 15 if no Folau in that jersey. Corabetti, Maddox, Valu or wings, Banks probably in that space as well. Seems to be used as a bit of a super sub. So yeah, that's the squad. It's not a whole big shift from what we've seen. Obviously, Cheika's got his eyes firmly on 2019, so it's not a time to really do a huge amount of experimenting. I guess Ashley Cooper and Pataya are kind of your 2 big inclusions because everyone else was, I think, pretty much in that Rugby Championship squad. Obviously, for me, Hannigan and Simmons still need to prove something. Cheika does like those players a lot. Simmons was shown up at least once during that game against New Zealand in that third Bledisloe. He's the kind of guy, like I'm really critical of him, and then he'll have a good game, and I'll be like, maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he's getting a bit tougher, getting a bit harder, and then he'll be a bit of a softie again. So, she's one of Cheika's favourites. Simmons is supposedly great in the line-out, as we all keep hearing. Yeah, I'd have Arnold. He's really big, but hey, Cheika's the guy. Chris Waisaltia, he misses out. If he wasn't going to get a spot when Kurandrani and Karevi were out, he was never going to get a spot when Karevi is back. Obviously, Hodge is has broken his ankle, so he's done for the season. Slipper is on the outer since his incident with when he was at the Reds. Like I said, Gordon over Powell. I'm pretty happy with that. Tamua over Liliafano. Kurandrani's out. Spate is overseas, so he wasn't going to be considered. So yeah, that's the Wallabies team. They could definitely use a good tour. Obviously, God, I keep saying obviously. Getting done by New Zealand 3 times in a row is probably not ideal. Playing New Zealand 3 times in a row is maybe not the best going forward. Maybe that's something they could look at. I know the reasoning for it is probably because you want to give yourself a better chance to win the Bledisloe. Like if there's that third game and it's best of 3, you don't have to win both as the challenger. But when you get beaten 3 times, it's not pleasant. So hopefully they have a good tour. Cheika can sort out who's his best guys for what positions for the World Cup. Oh yeah, I thought no Rona as well, interestingly, and Michael Wells, one of my personal favourites. Yeah, they're not short and loose forward, so I'm not too fussed if he doesn't make it. But yeah, that's the Wallabies squad for the tour. How do you guys think they are going to go? Who do you think should perhaps be in here? Who should perhaps not be in here? I've kind of put my little flags over Simmons and Hannigan, but hey, occasionally they have good games. I think Simmons got a pretty good line-out steal in that game against the All Blacks, so not all doom and gloom. Good tour. We'll get them back on the right track. Poor tour. Pressure is just going to increase. We will see what happens. Maybe AAC is the man to make the difference. You guys let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.